Hi, I'm Mariah.
Oh, and I'm Kelly.
And whether you're watching this live with us or, sorry about that, it's live, or catching us on a recording later, we're really happy that you're here with us.
Yeah, welcome. We are back for another discussion.
Yeah. Tonight, we're going to talk about what it means to tend to your heart when life feels real or kind of heavy or complicated, or maybe just when we need a little extra TLC.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like sometimes it's easy to almost try to put a box on things and what does overwhelmed mean or what does like do I fit in that category? Like I do that to myself sometimes where I'm like maybe a little too hard on myself.
Well, I think we all are. So this is not going to be a lecture. We're not going to claim to be perfect at any of this, but this is just real in the moment of sharing some of our experiences. And hopefully it's things that you all can relate to and share your experiences with us as well.
Yeah. So,
well,
kick it off.
I would love to know what's something that you're working on or working through right now that's been kind of weighing on you.
Yeah.
And how it's made you feel. Let's start there.
Sure. So I've had a recurring theme coming in the last probably 3 weeks.
Okay.
And it keeps circling back and it's all different areas of my life. So I know it's a lesson, right? And so it's the focus of letting go of things that aren't serving me anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And it's in all different forms. It's like, it could be the way I used to write an email or like the way that I was addressing my children or like things like that were almost surprises of like, oh, I've not thought of that. Or like I saw a YouTube video of all things, and this woman was unpacking a parenting hack, and it was about how to address a strong-willed child. And I've listened to things like this my entire parenting life for no particular reason.
It's like watching a cooking video that you're never going to make, but
literally,
you just can't stop watching.
So I'm just like, okay, I've watched this kind of stuff, and what she said really hit home. And I felt like it was this moment of like, oh, I'm really ready to hear this.
Oh, good.
And my heart just absorbed it. Have you guys ever had that happen where your heart just absorbs something that you've heard it before, and then all of a sudden you just get it?
Yeah.
And that was this, but that's been happening in other things where it's like, this just is not serving you anymore.
Yeah, I love that. It's okay to put things down.
Yeah, like let go of it.
Yeah.
And let it and move on and let it go. And so it's been so many things. Literally, I think it's been just about every area of my life. And I can't say it hasn't come without kind of that, wait, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is always how I've dealt with this, or this is, and my nervous system's like, it's not working anymore. Like you need to lay it down. And so I can't say it's like necessarily a struggle. It doesn't feel like a struggle. But it does feel uncomfortable because it's changing the way that things have always kind of happened. So that would be mine. What about you?
I can relate to that. God, I feel like I can relate to what it feels like to learn lessons and think you're over something or you've moved past something, and then have the universe kind of test you to see if you're done learning the lesson.
Are you sure?
Yeah. So I think I can relate to that. I can live with that kind of being a focal point of our conversation tonight, because I think it's something that a lot of people go through. And while I can't say it's impacting every area of my life right now, I certainly think that it's impacting things that are top of mind. And it's, I guess for me, it would be finding myself getting caught in thought loops again. That happens to me when I'm stressed out about something. And again, like that's a lesson I learned. I don't need to pick that back up, but it can certainly trigger cortisol. And it happened to me this morning and I texted you about it. And I didn't really apologize. I just kind of went, well, welcome to the racetrack. That's my brain today.
This is what's happening today.
Yeah.
And this is a perfect example though, because in the past, I would have felt this need to show up and help you through it somehow. And like this morning, I had empathy.
Yeah.
And I felt this like deep desire to just hold space with you and be like, man, I do know how that feels.
Yeah.
But also to just let you have it.
Yeah.
And be like, okay, that's yours. I've got my own going today for sure.
Yeah.
And not care. So that's an interesting lesson, not carrying other people's things. That's been something that I notoriously have done in the past that it's not serving me anymore.
Yeah, fair enough.
The examples are going to come out throughout the evening because there's a lot going.
So when we talk about tending to your heart, I mean, it's a beautiful metaphor, but also some people might go, what the fuck are they talking about?
Is that like with a shovel?
Yes. So
no,
I don't know. I guess I liked about the metaphor that it felt like gardening, which feels very appropriate for spring.
Very much so.
And I think for me, I think about how gentle we are. Like you might till the soil, fluff it up a little bit, but you plant a seed and you let it grow.
Yeah.
And you can't rush it.
No.
And it's not always beautiful. It's really not beautiful. And it can
the
be
weeds.
Dark.
Yep. Yeah. Sometimes there's really big, ugly weeds that are like, oh, you want to pull the top of me off? The root's gonna
because you've created such a wonderful growth environment.
That's right.
For me. But then you let it keep going and you nurture it, and before you know it, you've got something really beautiful and life-giving.
And it's so true. And think about weeds. Like when I'm really getting to a weed, if I pull the top off, I know it's coming right back. So when we're addressing, and this I think is a really important thing to talk about, when we're addressing the tending part of our heart, right? We're not talking about the surface. We're not talking about looking good to the world around you. We're not talking about, making sure your checklist is done. When I'm talking about tending, it's kind of like, it's the good, the bad, and the ugly. And it's the beautiful and the fulfilling and the wonderful too. Yeah. It's all aspects of who we are. When you have a deep-rooted weed, you have to go at it gently. Especially some of those big, I don't know about the rest of y'all, but in Colorado, there are some situations where the root is like 17 times bigger than the actual weed.
They're so frustrating.
And you have to just gently keep digging it down until you find the base of the weed and you get to that root. And that's such a crazy analogy because I think about how frustrated I get sometimes with the lessons. Like if I have to learn a lesson over and over and over.
I do too.
And sometimes I'm like, could we just? And it's like, right. But until you get to the root of the lesson, until you've dug down and gotten out what's causing the thing to keep coming up, it's going to keep coming up.
No, you're not wrong. Because I've definitely had that happen myself. And I feel I can get a little bit frustrated with myself and I can go, oh my God, I've learned this lesson already. Why am I doing this again? Yeah. And after I have the moment of frustration, I take a step back and I go, okay, but I haven't healed all of it.
That's right.
And somebody during my divorce told me that healing is a lot like peeling back layers of an onion. Like you can cut into it. It might make you cry, but then you see the layers and then you peel layers back and you're fine. And you're like, I got this. And then you might peel something that triggers you to cry or feel emotional. But there's like, it's always stuck with me because I'm like, it's not glamorous. Yeah. And it is very much like a gentle, gradual process.
Right.
And it impacts all areas of our lives, like you said. Even though your analogy was meant to talk about like specific examples.
Right.
But I think there's something to be said about the process.
Well, and something we touched on, as we were kind of talking through this idea was, when you're thinking about tending a garden, it's like you have certain inclinations, right? It's like you see something that needs water and it's like you don't just stick the poor thing in the sun and be like, the sun is good for you. Why aren't you grateful for the sun? And the plant's like, I just needed some water. Like, think about that. Like, how often are we sticking ourselves in the sun, burnt to a crisp, exhausted, totally depleted, and we're just like, why aren't you growing more? I put you in this beautiful sunlight to grow. And it's like, I just needed a drink of water and some friggin' shade. Like, help a sister.
We're not always looking at the nourishment.
No.
And, like, the holistic
That's right.
picture.
And I think that's a huge part of kind of tying into like the work that you and I have been referring to is, in the nervous system especially. And we'll tap into some research here pretty soon that's exciting to talk about. But, it's not just A plus B equals C all the time. It is a dance. It is navigating the day-to-day of life is not straightforward. It's gray.
Yeah.
It is not black and white. It's just gray. And sometimes, you have the wins and sometimes you have the losses and those things are black and white. And it's like, okay, I can see this clearly. But there's so many nuances, I think, to the day-to-day of what does it really mean to take care of ourselves?
Yeah.
What does that really look and feel like? And it's different for everybody. But I think it's so easy to get into, to your point, a loop, even in our own heads of excusing the overly extended or, maybe even overly relaxing at times too. Like there's those extremes where it's like neither is necessarily good for us. And I want to unpack that a little bit too, as we talk about how the physical body responds to our mental state, our emotional state, how we show up,
Well, and as you were speaking, it reminded me of just how often we are always like, we're kind of groomed for this with our desire for instant gratification. And we're groomed for this as we're growing up, but this what's next and not really enjoying the moment and the journey. But life is about the moments, the small moments and the journey. And a lot of times it's a meandering journey and it's not like point A to point B and just a straight shot. I mean, sure, it might be if I'm going grocery shopping. Right. Even that is often like, oh, let me wander around and see what else I want.
Yeah. Is that chocolate cake?
No. So I'm curious what some actual practices for tending to your heart in real life might look like.
Yeah. Well, I think I've talked about this a little bit before. I never realized that I'm an introverted extrovert until I was an adult. So I always thought I was an extrovert. And I always thought I recharged 100% of the time with people around me.
Yep.
I found out later that I really crave quiet and alone time as well. And so, for me, I have kind of my little sacred ritual in the morning. I get up when nobody else is awake and I have my coffee. I do my meditation. It's my time. And then I crank on my favorite audiobook that I'm listening to. And it's about an hour to an hour and a half of time that's just set aside for me.
Yep.
And another practice that I have that's kind of random, but just really works for me. I have a lot of racing thoughts. That's just something I deal with in not only my personality, I think, but just my genetic makeup. And I have to kind of be very aware of that because it can take over pretty easily. And so I've been really working on pattern interruption and that, especially in the middle of the night. And so something that I've been doing as a self-care lately is in the middle of the night, if I wake at like 2 a.m. and I'm just wide awake staring at the ceiling, I have like 2 or 3 different meditations that I'll rotate through and I'll just plug one of them in and I'll remember to do my deep breathing and just allow my body to come back down to peace and remember that like I'm not going to solve anything at 2 a.m, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
Even though it's genius sometimes at 2 a.m. I'm like, ooh, that was a good idea.
Do you keep a pen and paper near your bed?
I just keep my phone. So but I do have notes in my phone. Like I will, if I wake up and I've got inspiration, man, I just put it in a note in my phone and then I look at it in the morning. But the racing thoughts is different. That's like, I'm thinking about things that I probably don't have too much control over, something that's stressing me out, something that's like too big or too much. And it's like, I've just, instead of staying awake for 3 hours and trying to solve it, just allowing myself to interrupt the loop and putting in the headphones and just calm me. What about you?
Well, my morning ritual is very similar to yours. I tend to put my phone in do not disturb before I go to sleep at night. And I will not take it out of do not disturb until I'm through my morning. It's my personal Reiki practice, which is other people's meditation. My favorite way to do it is by walking and doing it. It kind of kills two birds with one stone. I get some or all of my daily exercise goal achieved in the morning. And I find that I focus the best when I'm doing my own grounding practices when I'm moving.
Makes sense. Bilateral movement.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing. But also, if I just try to sit and have my coffee and do it, I find that my mind wanders, and I'm not going to claim that it doesn't wander, but I just go, okay, well, that needed some attention. And now I've given it that attention, and now I can refocus. So I give myself a lot of grace. I do sometimes become aware that I'll get a message or something during that time, even though my phone's on do not disturb. And I will just intentionally ignore it. And nothing that comes in that early needs my attention. It just, I'm not in a situation where things are life and death.
Right.
And if they were, then people know how to get a hold of me regardless. And they would call. So that's certainly one. I find that I'm really mindful about, especially when I'm feeling like I'm just feeling a little tenderhearted. I find that I'm really mindful about what I'm consuming. And I don't mean just food or drinks. I mean content. I mean, how much am I on social media, which is usually not much. Like I tend, or if I am, I'm seeking out things like music videos or things that just bring me joy, or, funny videos. Or I like lighthearted books, or I'm a girl who loves action shows and things like that, but I don't tend to want to watch them when I'm like, I might watch something like the Great British Bake Off, British Baking Show, whatever it's called. Or something that's just completely kind of mindless and feel good and just like fun. So being mindful of content, that was really a good one for me that I learned several years ago. And I find that I continue to gravitate towards it. I love to get time outside, but I don't always, I'm so fair skinned. Like this time of year is hard for me to spend a lot of time outside and not feel like I've got to wear long sleeves with UV clothing protection or sunscreen all over, unless I want to be a lobster. So sometimes it's stepping outside on a shaded patio for a few minutes, or even just looking out the window for a few minutes. Like that can feel really grounding and centering for me. And if I can just, I love birds. So if I can watch birds for a minute, or like be surprised by some other wildlife, not in a startling, like, oh my God, there's a mouse in my yard kind of way.
We don't need mice ever.
No, but I think that's another really solid thing for me, is just trying to get some nature inspiration, even if I'm not fully immersed in nature. Because as much as I love it, sometimes that to-do list feels a little bit bigger than like, oh, I'm going to just set everything down and go be outside all day.
Let's talk about that for a minute.
Okay.
How many times do you guys do that to yourselves? Because I know I do. where I'm like, okay, I should be enjoying nature right now. But this to-do list is so blah, blah, blah. And the to-do list is here, and we're not giving ourselves permission to take the break. But then on the flip of that, there's pressure almost to take the break.
Yeah.
What's the balance there? How do we find balance between the to-do list and the reality of meeting?
Well, I can share a real life example from today.
From today, mind you.
Because again, the racing thoughts, some of it was my to-do list. Some of it was looking at my schedule for the week going, oh my gosh. I mean, it just sneaks up on me sometimes with how I can overcommit. And it's like, 2 months ago, I said, yes, I would love to do that. And before I know it, I've got commitments every single day of the week. And I'm like, I want to get stuff done around my house because my house is my sanctuary. And if my house is not in order, my mind does not feel at peace. So I had a really productive start to my day today, and I checked in with you, told you how I was feeling. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to get to work. And I've got this blessing and a curse of using a new AI tool with my other role. And it means that I do some work and then I have to set it down because I have to give it time to work on my behalf. That's one of the beautiful things about AI. And so I got my other job to this point where I was like, okay, it needs time. And I'm like, well, I could sit here and twiddle my thumbs while it does this, or I could actually use the time that the system is taking to think. And I had meetings and things, and I was done with that. So I decided to go take a quick 35 minutes. It wasn't pretty, but I gave myself permission to do a not perfect job today of mowing my grass.
Great.
Not only was it time outside and it was hot and sunny, but I got some fresh air. I had my headphones in and my audiobook on. So it was like a good mental decompression, waved at some neighbors. And I just felt like, oh, that was really taking up a lot of mental real estate. So freeing that up, I know I don't have to worry about that for another week. It felt really good and life-giving.
Yeah, it's great.
So
I love that.
And it's just like, check, check, check. A little self-care, a little project around the house, something off my to-do list, and I felt accomplished.
That's right. Let's talk for a minute about what we feel like when we are frozen or when things are
when we're overwhelmed
up to here and we're like, I had an example today of getting frozen. I'm like, since we're on the topic. So as we know, I've been moving. That's all I've been talking about.
It's really not though.
We're like at the end of it, right? It's like, okay, we're almost done. And then it's like one more delivery. One more thing gets delivered.
But at least you're in your house and you're settling in.
Yes. Yeah. So we're at a point now where it's like bigger items are like coming, it's like, oh, a dresser, we needed this dresser and it's coming. Anyway, so today my husband received this video gaming console, and it's an old school, like you go to an arcade and it has the buttons and the joystick, and it
sounds so fun.
Very exciting. It's going to be very fun. And so we're unpacking it, and it's like, I had just gotten home, and today was the errands day. Like I haven't been able to run errands in a couple of weeks. Like it's just been, my son had swim finals and my daughter had her musical theater thing. And, it's just been go, 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 demand, demand, demand. Oh, by the way, we're moving. Oh, by the way, we did this. Oh, by the way, we have this appointment. Oh, by the way, don't forget to set up your utilities, because I did.
Oh my gosh. And your dad's birthday and Mother's Day.
And Mother's Day. Yeah. And it was just like the snowball was getting bigger, right? So I get home, I'd run all these errands today. My daughter was having a friend over after school, which was so fun. And I just love it. And I set myself up for success with dinner. I bought like the pre-made breaded chicken. Thank you, Whole Foods, for making that. And I sauteed it in butter.
Yum.
And then set it aside and made like a piccata sauce.
Can we just ask, when you sauteed it in butter, you don't have to season it because it's already seasoned?
Correct. It's
just butter.
And you just put it in the butter and
Yum.
it crisps it back up. Oh my gosh.
We're going to have to make a cooking video on this or something because I got to learn.
And then, so I made the piccata sauce and angel hair and just roasted some broccoli. So dinner's like, I'm like, oh, dinner's gonna be so easy. This is awesome. I was all excited about dinner. So I come in and I'm just like all excited. I can barely pull into the garage because this thing is like blocking. And I'm like, oh dear.
The box. Oh, how interesting. Not only did you have like a mental freeze, but like a physical barrier.
Yeah.
Yeah. So interesting.
So the whole thing had to be figured out. Things were being blocked. Like no one could barely get out of the car. Like it was a whole thing. And I was very frustrated about that. So the gaming console's unpacked. It's in the basement. I'm like, okay, at least I didn't have to carry it down there.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like I arrived to kind of chaos, I guess.
Yeah.
After an already very long day of, I ran like 6 or 7 errands today. That's a lot. I just got a lot of things off the list today that had just been weighing on me. And I come in and my husband's like, I can't find the drill anywhere. And I just froze. It was like, boop, that's enough. I can't think anymore. And I looked at him and I was like, I'm actually frozen right now. And he was like, what? Like, that doesn't happen to me very often.
You're the one that fight. Everyone in your family asks for where everything is.
I'm a fight. I'm not a freeze. Okay. So I don't freeze very often. And he just looked at me and I was like, I need a minute.
Oh, and fair.
And I just took a minute, and in all fairness, I went upstairs and I just wandered around for a minute, still did nothing. And then I remembered where I'd put the drill. And I was like, oh, okay. And just that 30 seconds of walking away from the situation, taking the break, decompressing. I can't say I was thrilled about helping find the drill in this gaming console setup, but it got done, you know, and everything kind of like settled down. I got dinner made and it was delicious. And it was just like, okay, peace has returned.
Yeah.
And so I think it is truly, at the end of the day, it's about pattern interruption. And I think that's the theme that I'm seeing through the tending. It's like, we got to pattern interrupt the things that are, you know, fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. Those are the 4, right? What is yours? What do you do when you're overwhelmed?
Well, and honestly, they change.
They do.
I mean, for me, depending on the situation, I may be just fine. I may.
Right.
I rarely go to fight. Like, well, it tends to be the one that I try to avoid.
That's my first one.
Unless it's somebody else that I'm coming to their defense. I rarely go into fight mode for myself.
Yeah.
I tend to be probably more freeze.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think fawn is my least of the 4.
Fawn is the one I've learned about most recently. So I really haven't analyzed it as much.
Yeah. Yeah. Like being a peacemaker.
Yeah.
You know, making sure everybody's okay. And it's not that I don't do that, but it's not my first natural response.
I definitely go into that mode when there's an emergency.
Sure.
I am as cool as a cucumber. I will get everything handled. I've navigated so many emergencies, so many truly life or death situations. Yeah. And it's like, I will just set all of my personal feelings aside and I just make sure I'm like, I got this.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's not all that healthy because it means I've got all the processing that comes later.
Yeah. I get that.
Yeah.
It's true.
Oh boy. Well, oh gosh, I don't know if I want to get into this, but I'll ask and we can decide. Can you think of a time when you last put yourself last and how that impacted you?
That's probably my MO. If I'm thinking about like the day to day.
Yeah.
I put myself first in the morning time.
Yeah.
And then it's over. And by the time the head hits the pillow, I've kind of given until I fall over.
Okay. So it's a newer muscle that you're building. I think it is.
But then learning to say no, like the other day, I mean, this is how I would kind of like weigh this on the back end is like, learning to say no, being in a position to say, I can't do that right now. can we check in later?
Yeah.
That I'm practicing. And it's not easy for me. I'm such a doer. I mean,
yeah.
If A++ was a personality type, that would be me. I just do. And I think you're the same way. It's the go, 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 get it done. And when the list is done, then I can rest. Syndrome.
Well, okay. So I've been working on this maybe a little bit longer, and it's different because I live alone and you have a family and you're navigating a lot of personalities under your roof.
And so we are.
For me, it's like, this is my space and I get to command my time. Now, where the wheels on my bus fall off are when I'm with my family. Honest to God, if you ask me, well, okay, I'm trying to say this really gently, but as an example, with my parents, if my mom asks what sounds good to me to eat, I really go with zero expectations about what I'm going to put in my body, because inevitably anything I'm craving is not what we're going to eat. We will eat what my mom is craving, even when she makes a stink about it. I'm going to just pick on this a little bit. On Mother's Day, we had really beautiful brunch plans, and then she wanted to know what we were doing for dinner. She did not want to weigh in. My dad quickly made a reservation for us at a restaurant. And then about halfway through the day, she decided she didn't want to go to that restaurant. She wanted Tokyo Joe's.
Oh boy.
Which was fine.
Yeah.
We canceled the reservation, but that type of scenario happens a lot. And I've gotten really good at rolling with the punches to the point where I struggle with coming up with ideas and like actually being somebody who will weigh in or like be the idea generator. I'm the person that's like, please just tell me where to show up and when, and I'm there. And I've really had to learn, and I'm definitely still practicing this, like what feels life-giving to me, and like, how do I tap into myself and pause in a moment to go, wait, am I saying yes to this because I want to? Am I saying yes to this because I feel obligated to? And do I want to say no? Because if it's a maybe, it's usually a no, actually. And I don't always know why. And I think something I'm learning is I don't have to have an answer as to why. No is a complete sentence.
Yeah.
And I have an example of, I got invited to a potluck barbecue at somebody's house this weekend. I've already got a full day of volunteering ahead of that in the day. And as much as I love the people whose house I was invited to, I was feeling like, and that's just one more commitment. Like there wasn't anything life-giving feeling about it. And I went, I have to say no to that.
Yeah.
And I felt a little bit guilty about it because it's somebody's flying into town that I haven't seen for a couple of years. And I'm not going to see her because I chose not to show up for this. And I still feel good about that decision. And so it's a practice. It's something I'm still in.
It's a practicing practice. And I think it is. It's important to practice it, because I don't think our practices suddenly just wake up one day. Like I have to say, like referring to my earlier lesson, I have been listening to parenting videos along this line forever.
Yeah.
And it just hasn't ever stuck. And I think it's so important that, that we stay tuned in, I guess, because there are just those moments when our soul is ready to receive something new.
Yeah.
And boundaries get set and you're like, I never in my wildest thought I would. I mean, I had a situation, and I will not go into details because I don't want to expose the heart behind the healing for this person. But I had a situation where I had to address an authority figure for the first time in my life. And it was terrifying. Like I was shaking in my boots and I did not want to deal with it. And I ended up dealing with it. And it was one of the most life-giving things that ever have I ever done. And I set a really, really healthy boundary and explained the why. And it wasn't that I was explaining myself. It was that I was inviting this person into the understanding behind the why.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know how it was going to get received. I didn't really care.
Yeah.
I just knew I had to set this boundary because I knew it was going to protect my heart over time forevermore.
Yeah.
And it has. And it was such an incredible and important shift in my adult life, I think, to recognize this is something I'm capable of doing. This is something, that's hard. It's not something I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
But on the coattails of that, it's like, oh my gosh, I just protected myself in a really important way.
Yeah.
From being exposed to this situation ever again. And that was a big deal to me.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of tending to our hearts as well, is being able to identify and know, hey, I've had enough of something.
Yeah.
This is not, even if it's like work related or family related or whatever, it's like we all are dealing with different things, right? It's like, at what point is enough to where you're not living in the past, you're not living in regret, you're allowing yourself to set healthy boundaries, to heal from old things or to heal from new things, or to just stop a cycle. It's like, I'm not going to allow this person to treat me this way anymore. I'm setting this boundary. I'm putting distance here. All of that is, I think, part of tending as well, because as we grow, and our roots get bigger and more healthy, as they're nurtured, we get stronger and it becomes easier, to do those things. So
yeah,
I'm loving all these plant analogies.
It's so appropriate for spring.
It's like really giving too. It's like, oh yeah. Well, and to tap into our theme for May of living in freedom through abundance. Like, what does that mean when we're tending to our hearts in an abundant heart? What does that mean? To me, it means you have space to wiggle room to go, hey, today I had a tap out point, and so I'm going to go take some of my space back.
Yeah.
I'm going to go remind myself that this is safe, that I'm safe because I'm here,
Well, and I think, I'm sure we could potentially come across as a broken record, but it's so important, the practice of gratitude.
That's right.
And Brene Brown actually talks about how the research that her and her team did around people who lead genuinely joyful lives, and how their base foundational practice is gratitude.
Yeah.
And we had not that long ago, there was a group of monks that walked across the country, and they were just trying to spread gratitude.
Yeah.
And I just think it's such a powerful practice. So I know that I also try to incorporate that in my daily life, and it can be everything from pausing, and as I open my shades in the morning and I start to see the sunrise, and I go, oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for this beautiful gift, to oh, my coffee is so delicious today. Thank you.
Sip.
I know.
What is it about the first sip of coffee? And I'm sorry if you don't drink coffee.
It might be tea. It could be
tea or boba
anything,
or whatever you love.
Even soda. I mean,
I feel like there's just something about the first sip. It's so comforting.
It's so good. So I really try to find moments through the day like that, of just gratitude. Like today, you cooked dinner and it was easy. I had leftovers in the fridge, and that was really nice and easy for me.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I guess for me, the big takeaway tonight is nobody's alone in this journey. We're all navigating life, and nothing is perfect or streamlined, or despite what you see on social media.
That's right.
I mean, people put polished images out there that look so good and so curated. And it's hard sometimes to just be like, I don't have it all figured out. Right. But here we are, we're saying just that. We don't have it all figured out. And it's a practice. So I'm grateful to be on this journey with you.
I'm grateful with all too. Of you. Yes. I agree with the gratitude thing. Super important. I think as a takeaway for me is, from this conversation as well, it's like building your practice. That's what we're doing. It's like and again, with the garden, it's like, if you leave a garden to itself, it goes out of control. It's a mess. It's a disaster. It's full of weeds, and the little plants that are trying to survive are like, excuse me. And so when we are tending to ourselves, when we are taking the time to see ourselves and pause and ask, how am I really doing? Or is that thing on my to-do list really that critically important? Or is there space for me to have a connection instead? Or, what do I really need? And sometimes, and I can attest to this too. Sometimes there's those seasons where it's like, well, shoot, it's like financial and you just need some freaking money to come in. Get grateful. Have that practice of gratitude and look for those moments, even when it's going out. Thank you for, this
Thank you for allowing the money to circulate through me.
The flow, and building the flow, building the practice of being a conduit, being a flow, being in flow about things and staying in gratitude. Like, I think it's a start. And I think it's, it's a great way for us to encourage each other and to check in, I think too. But to not lose sight of the fact that every day is different. Every day is going to bring us new challenges and new wonderful things too. And it's okay not to have it all figured out. I just think that's part of life.
I do too. I'll apologize right now. We didn't really get into the science of it all.
We didn't.
The science is actually so interesting, and it's something I just don't have it memorized. So
it's true.
I'm happy to provide some additional education on it. It's going to be a lot of referencing notes when I do that, or when we do that.
Yes.
Or maybe we'll get some guest speakers that can help shed some light, because there's so much rich content on this out there. And I would say a couple of things, if people want to dive into this now before we talk about it. A big inspiration for us is Philip Andrews, who's the Abundance Alchemist, and his work on nervous system mastery. Cannot recommend it enough. It's so easy, so accessible, so affordable. So definitely check him out. Brené Brown has fantastic books. And then the book, The Body Keeps the Score, is such a great resource. And I think those are just a couple. There's so many more things. Getting into the quantum physics of energy work. And I mean, that's where I really nerd out because of my Reiki practice, and just understanding that energy is infinite and we can do so much with it. So I think there's so much more to come on this, but we hope that this has been life-giving and that you feel like you're not alone in this journey. We are happy that you've chosen to be here with us, and we look forward to continuing the conversation with all of you. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.